reference to estate scams of government, when there's government names involved in denying my identity and facts of history, if their name was ever on a list or documented of ever slandering my identity, and then they tried to pop up with a stolen child trying to claim the estate, somebody'd say, well, hey, wait a minute. There's more identification information about my identity than any other person in the whole country. You know that, right? And the abuses that I have been through are documented. So, when these government people have been denying my identity, and then they tried to verify the identity of a stolen child to try to steal the estates of my parents. If I would have got murdered by these people, then they would have said, oh yeah, Mark was the real child of Doris Duke and Walt Disney. Oh, very unfortunate, huh? Things like that. See, they try to deny a person's identity until they move along, waiting for another opportunity for them to make up some lie. And they did this shit to my teeth. My teeth was 100% perfect. Don't play tricks. Anybody claiming they thought I had any health disorders of the mouth or teeth, my DNA is exactly the same as it was when my teeth was 100% perfect. Don't forget that. That's what's so important about DNA. It shows that there was no reasonable cause for any damage to the teeth or any other body parts. No reasonable cause for any spider veins either. But these people in their government positions, they would try to claim that they didn't know who I am since I'm alive. If they would have got away with murdering me, then they'd try to figure out how to identify a dead person, wouldn't they? But they couldn't figure out how to identify a person that was alive. Isn't that strange? Yeah, when they kidnapped me from my mother and father's mansions, I was alive then too. So always finding out who was in office in government, who was in offices at any place that was trying to make these illegal determinations or these illegal decisions or their confusion statements of where they've tried to confuse my identity as their way of trying to murder me off. And then they thought they'd try to claim that they knew how to identify a dead person. They get charged for 100% attempts of murder, and they can get charged for the murder of my parents, and they get charged for poaching genetics. They get charged for financial crimes, squatting on money, stealing from me, making my life into a struggle. It hit me in the throat just now, in the chest with the satellite. All lawsuits always go up. They always go up. So, larger lawsuit now. But these government people try to tie themselves into somebody, to the next person, or the other person. Like they try to channel through different people. Just try to connect themselves to a person's money and a person's land. Someone say, oh, how come you can recognize the person now? Well, you couldn't, recognition, look up the definition. It doesn't mean crashing a person's life, mutilating or damaging a person's life. The word recognition is acknowledgement of something. Recognizing something. Like, oh, do you recognize that building? Do you recognize that property? Do you recognize this person? Do you recognize that person? That doesn't mean wrecking a person's body, face, or teeth, or anatomy, or causing them any bodily harm. You might say recognition has its popularity type of definition too. So in reference to these government people slandering, mutilating, claiming they didn't know who I am, stalking me every day since they had kidnapped me from my mother and father's mansions. They've been stalking me. They were stalking me even before they kidnapped me from my mother and father's mansions. The activity of these people trying to trying to manipulate and jolting and tasering people and making them stutter by fucking up their teeth. Obviously, you know, making a person stutter fucks up their teeth. You know that, right? So in reference to their particular analyzing, what race are they? What religion are they? What's their family history? What's their financial history of their family? Oh, they're gold digging. They're trying to steal my family wealth. They're trying to steal my identity. These people try to say, oh, you didn't know who the person was, but you seem to have had a stolen child from that person's genetics, is what they might say to these people. You didn't know who the person was, but you stole the person's genetics and artificially inseminated people of your race. Yeah, that don't make sense, does it? It's like a chain letter. It's like a paper trail. But then the paper only comes from one place. So that means that's where you got the paper from, or the person that you got the genetics from was the same person that stole the genetics, or got the genetics from somebody else that stole the genetics. It's like a chain letter, man. They're going to get you. You say you didn't know who I am, you didn't know who my parents are. But you're all connected to one person or the next person that's connected to the person that killed and murdered my parents. And then you're connected to the next person or the other person or the next person that kidnapped me from my mother and father's mansions. Or you're connected to one person or another person that's been stealing my postal mail. Or you're connected to one person or the other person denying the information as their way of covering up that they were involved back in the days of when they murdered my father. Or their family was involved, or their office was involved in their government branches, or their race or religion. They're going to get you one of these days. You're going to be sued and prosecuted for every penny you stole from me and every penny you spent of stolen money. And you're going to be prosecuted for blocking me from my rights and popularity. Role protocols in the media of my identity 24 hours a day, forever.